Hey, mom and dad, it's me, your son Micah, and I guess this is the start of my man plan presentation. And for the longest time, working on the man plan, I was trying to figure out how I'd best be able to explain, where I envision myself across the next couple of years. Because, it's not easy to try and map out the next couple of years of your life in 20 minutes, but I feel like for me, the best way to do that was through video games because this is something that I've been doing across for the past maybe 10-ish, 11 years, almost every single day. So I just felt like what better way to explain where I see myself across the next 10 years than by showing it through something that has developed me as a person throughout the past 10 years. And across this video, you're going to see a variety of different video games and just explaining how, and all of them just incorporate who I am as a person. And yeah, so I just hope you guys enjoy my presentation. I know you guys can't talk for it, but I'm just happy that you guys are to give me the time and space so where I can do this for you guys. And yeah, thank you guys. Yeah, and also before we start, kind of, simulating my life, I guess, I just wanted to explain why I picked this skin. And it's pretty obvious for a reason. It's a black guy, kind of similar hair as me. Picked the number 19 for college, and you can obviously customize with all the different numbers. So I could go, 17, 7, or 47. But I feel like 19 is just the most fitting because, it's gonna be my number next year when I enter college. And obviously, my nation of birth, USA, because they didn't have El Salvador. So yeah. All right, what's up, guys? So I wanna now talk about, just my next kind of 6 months and kind of my goals before I graduate high school. And throughout the past couple weeks, I've been working on building different Fortnite maps to kind of explain where I want to see myself. And this school, I wasn't trying to make a direct representation of Brownsburg, but I just wanted to make a nice little peaceful and calm schooling world, I guess. But yeah, so during the remaining time in high school, my priorities are to graduate with at least a 3.9 cumulative GPA, and I feel like I've done, better this past year because I have a 4.3 right now. But just want to graduate with a high GPA to make myself eligible for more scholarships and make schooling a little bit easier. And I want to earn my honors diploma, which I am on track for because I've been locking in. Um, and then at the same time, I just kind of want to enjoy my senior year. I've worked pretty hard the past couple years to kind of get myself the peace and freedom to relax now. So I just kind of want to have fun and make memories with all my friends before, the next chapter of my life starts. And I mean, I already talked about this, but I already got my SAT done and stuff. And although my score wasn't, what I wanted to be, I don't really want to redo it because, I don't like school and I don't like test taking. But yeah, and obviously I'm going to IUND next year and get my degree in psychology, my undergrad degree. But if things were to change, I'd want to possibly change my degree or minor in what we call Spanish or criminology. And my long-term goal is to pursue a career in psychology or physical therapy and get my undergraduate by 2030, June of 2030. Um, and then with the people I want to surround myself with, I just want to be around people who are goal-driven and self-oriented, hardworking, and just loyal people because I feel like those are the best people to grow and this is the best people to grow and be around because that's how I think I am. And people who are like-minded, the people you surround yourself around, those are gonna be the people who dictate who you really are. And my circle my circle will consist of people that inspire me and challenge me and just support my goals in general. And what do you call it? And when just thinking about my circle, I like to keep a relatively small circle. I don't like a lot of people to know my business because when you let a whole bunch of people know, what you're doing, that kind of leads to, just if you're falling, it's your fault because people, not everybody wants to see you succeed in life. So I want to keep you and dad close, mom and dad really close in my life. I want to keep, Kevin, Tekka, Santi, all my guys, because those are people who have, who have basically raised me. So, if I were to lose you guys, then it'd be pretty heartbreaking. But yeah, I mean, really, that's really honestly who I keep my circle around, like my close, tight knit circle. And I want to just steer away from evil, steer away from the devil, and just people who only feel hatred in their heart, and people who want to, just end all success that is coming my way. All right, guys. Now I'm gonna take you into this graduation world that I made. I made this about in 2023, so I wasn't able to update it with the 2026 graduation. But yeah, I made this map in around summer of 2023 for the 2023 class, just like as a free project that I was doing. And yeah, it's kind of want to talk about, why graduation is important for me because I mean, it's literally it's my last, little bit of adolescence, innocence before, stuff gets real for me. And I think graduation is more than just walking across the stage, getting diplomas, shaking hands, but it's like almost a representation of 4 years of hard work, discipline, and growth that I've gone through. And it marks the end of one chapter of my life, but it leads me to the beginning of another. And everything that I've done in high school, the late night studying, the practices, the challenges, successes, crying, making memories with all my friends. Everything has led up to this, one moment on June 6th where, we're all just being celebrated for, graduating high school, which isn't easy. And it's important because, it symbolizes that I stayed committed to my grades and that I didn't give up at all. I worked to finish strong and I worked to finish to the end. And it reflects the standards that I set for myself and the responsibility that I took for my future at a young age. And something else that's also important about it is that it's also kind of giving thanks for everybody who supported me along the way. My family, my mentors, my coaches, teachers, guardians, everybody. It's not just my accomplishment. It's a combination of who has ever invested in me. And I feel like it'll just bring a sense of pride and just gratitude when they see me walking across the stage. And it's just a transitional moment. It's a moment where I step into adulthood and just start to truly find my purpose and meaning of life. As I move to start studying psychology, it reminds me I'm capable of setting goals and achieving them. But as long as I stay committed to them, I can do anything. And it's just, I don't know, it's just a sign of what's to come next. And I'm just really happy that I can graduate in a couple months and that I get to do it alongside my family and friends. And yeah, this is the world that I made. So I hope you guys like it. All right, so guys, now I'm taking you through a world I made called heaven, which I want to talk about kind of like my spiritual connection. So, I feel like it's one thing growing up your entire life being a part of a church and just kind of being like not forced, but just being exposed to an early age about a relationship with God. And that's something that I haven't really like, figured out until the past couple, not even years, but just kind of months, just the importance of leaning on Him. And I think really during the soccer season, having those pregame Bible studies really helped me just understand it and just bring me closer to a group of godly men around me who want to just see me succeed. Because ultimately, without having God as a foundation, then life. I mean, it's just confusing. But when you give God, the center of a lot of your relationships and your values, then you'll just see how much it's like the wonders He does in your life. So yeah, in this world, I just made it called heaven, and obviously you don't know what heaven looks like, but I just imagine like the garden. It's just a beautiful place. Butterflies. It's calming up. Yeah, I just wanted to make the world because I just felt like it was peaceful and like a good representation of what heaven could be. And I just kind of wanted to talk about how leaning on God, it just reminded me that I'm created through His purpose, and learning more about him has pushed me to live more of a holy life. Not perfect because that's impossible, but I'm just trying to be more intentional, more disciplined, more aware of my actions and how in response to how God would want me to live. And on one of our pages, we're supposed to write about quotes that we try to live by. And I didn't write this originally during the man plan, but a quote that I've actually found really good is that I'm in the middle of everything that I used to pray for. So, I've liked this quote a lot because, you guys know how I wanted to quit soccer. And I had to take a moment to realize that a couple years ago, I was, my goals were to be Division 1, were to be a, place in my pro, all this is and that. And I was getting overwhelmed by everything. But, you know, by me trusting God, I was able to accomplish those things. So the next goals that I set out for my life, why wouldn't I trust God? Because, yeah, why wouldn't I trust God? Because ultimately, He has a plan for me. If I follow it, if I follow through, He got my back the whole time. So yeah, I just wanted to just talk about my spiritual connection before we start, going to my adulthood and where I, truly see myself across the next couple of years.
And there's going to be a change now. This to be level. And they've done it. Level again with not long to go.
The fourth official has indicated there will be a minimum of 2 minutes of added time.
This to win it. And that should do it. A late goal. And more than likely a winning goal.
Well, let's have a
Oh, look at my guy Micah right here. First time in school history, Horizon League champs. He did it.
First one,
Trophy
baby,
in his
let's
hands.
go.
Goal scorer of the final. Jaguars on top.
all of Indy with
First
us.
Horizon League championship ever, and my brother brought it home.
All right, guys. So now I'm gonna take you to another world that I created called the Therapy Center. And originally I made this world for my friends and I just like relax in between games. Like there's nothing that serious, but it's just kind of like a calm world that we could just chill in between games and stuff. And we have different therapists and patients. And it kind of I think when I'm older I want to own my own therapy or like therapy center where we could have different there's different like specialists. We could have we could have sports psychologists. We could have child psychologists, adult psychologists, relationship, and like all these different rooms. It's kind of like an envisionment of where I see myself possibly owning my own business one day. So yeah, we have all these different rooms and stuff, and yeah, and we have the main office which will be my area, storage room. But the world aside, I feel like growing up, my dream was to become a professional soccer player. And like, because soccer has shaped my whole life. But in a long time, I only saw my future as a soccer player. My identity was only a soccer player. But as I've grown, I've realized that dreams can evolve. They can evolve like as you evolve. And the game ultimately leave you one day. So I can't just rely on soccer. And I just want to support the people who play it because I understand more than anybody, how the mental aspect can ruin somebody. And that's kind of where I found my interest in sports psychology and sports therapy. And I want to work at the intersection of athletics and mental health because athletes are often expected to, be strong all the time when they carry pressure, identity issues, mental battles that people don't always see. And they don't, and the world hasn't done a good enough job of creating a safe place where people can, like athletes can have these conversations. I just want to understand. I also want to understand why people do what they do because everything that we do is not just irrational. Like every decision people make has a cause, has a cause somewhere for it. So that's something I also want to understand through psychology, and that's why my college years I want to study psychology, and then like lastly, just the community around me. Whether it's my family, my coaches, teammates, or mentors, they help shape who I am, and I want to give that same support back in just a little bit of a different way. Whether it's working with young athletes, mentoring, or building programs that focus on mental health awareness in sports, I just wanted to be someone who's known as who can strengthen the foundation and strengthen the mental health of other people. All right, guys. So I don't know if you guys noticed, but I changed my skin up. It's a bit of a more mature style, just to symbolize the maturity and growth that I've been going through across my life. And this world that I'm gonna be walking around through was a home that I made this morning and last night, and it was basically just a demonstration of kind of how I want my house, my home to look like when I'm older. Because if I can envision it right now, then I can make it a reality when it comes time to have my own family and kids. But yeah, once I reach financial stability, I want to build a strong family with a wife who supports and loves me, who challenges me to be better every single day, and someone that I love. And kids who can know just my namesake basically. And I just want to be able to provide a safe and comfortable home for them. Not just for, like for status. Not just say, oh, I have a nice house, but just for security and peace. Just I can feel that. And for me, I think financial stability means freedom. It means freedom to be present, freedom to support my kids' dreams, and to give them opportunities that I may have not had, or just people I know aren't as fortunate to have. And I just want my children to feel protected and loved and confident knowing that their father was someone who worked hard to create a safe space for them. And everything I'm working toward now is not just for me, but it's for the family. I plan to build in the life I want to create and just give back to the people. No, not even the people, just to you and to you, mom and dad, for just providing me all these opportunities and blessing me with life. Well, I feel like the only way to properly end this video is to, end the heighten off my days, and it's by showing the sunset. Because, I've told you guys that the sunset has allowed me to reflect upon my life every single day, and it gives me something to be like, wow, what can I do every single day to earn my sunset? And although it's something I do every single day, I feel like, whenever the time comes where, I breathe my last breath, I hope to be able to see one more beautiful sunset and truly reflect upon what I've done about my life. Whether it's through soccer, whether it's through therapy, whether it's just through living, and even if I don't do anything, I just want to be useful. I just want to feel like I have meaning in life, and I just want to be able to just lay down one day and just be proud of what I've done. I want to be able to make you guys proud. I want to be able to make my friends proud. I just want to be able to say that I lived a life that impacted a lot of people in a good way, and that I don't know, I can just be proud of myself in a way. But you know, because at the end of the day, I feel like we all want to be useful in some way in some degree. We all want to feel like we have meaning and purpose because a life without meaning and purpose is a life without living. And once we can find those things, once we can find a balance of love, of family, of friends, of work, and just find the balance that best suits us, we can truly find peace and happiness. So yeah, I just want to thank you guys for giving me the opportunity to talk to you guys and show you this video. Because I know I probably could have worked a bit harder on it, but I feel like it was the best way to kind of explain who I am through different visuals, through different worlds that I spent years and lots of time creating. So yeah, thank you guys, and I'll talk to you guys in a minute.